everyone, a very good evening to all of you and welcome to this session. It would be great if you can let me know if my audio video is working fine. Are we good to go? Please let me know. So, those who are watching me for the first time, I'm your faculty of English here on CGB Mentors, and my name is Niharika John Mehra. I am giving regular sessions here. इसमें editorial analysis हम कर रहे हैं. For those for whom it is difficult to understand what exactly it is, so we take an article which is the editorial from usually the Hindu newspaper, but yeah, sometimes we can go with the other newspaper as well. So we learn skimming, we practice skimming, we learn new words, and of course, revise words in case you already know. We practice grammar, we see how our rules and our other things applicable, how they are used actually in a content, a piece of content. And last but not the least, we do some questions here, which are MCQs based on the passage. Ultimately, it's going to help you to retain more things in your mind. It helps with the memory building with respect to reading something and enable to keep most of the content of it in your mind. So it's like a great session, a power packed session for all of you. And be it any exam, if English is a subject in the syllabus, then this is a very helpful session for all of you. So jaldi se इसे like और share कर दो. Make sure to subscribe the channel. There are many things in the description box below. The details of our other courses, our application, our website. Because support team shares this PDF of editorial every day with the students, so you can connect with them as well. So do check out the description box below. Can any one of you confirm me once again if I am properly audible and visible? Hmm? I think we are. Okay, so we are going to start with skimming. Skimming is where you are going to focus on mainly the subject and verb of a sentence. Not gonna focus a lot upon the numbers and names. Try to understand what the line means rather than the translation part of it. आपको एक एक word का translation नहीं करना है. What you need here is exactly the sense of the passage, and that doesn't require translating everything in your mother tongue. So try to understand to capture the meaning in English itself. Okay, take a take a picture of it rather than going word to word. तो वो आपके पास में beneficial होगा. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a timer. It's going to be of 2.5 minutes. Gonna keep it here in front of you, and that's the time जो आपको मिलेगा ये पढ़ने के लिए, ये skim करने के लिए. Okay, so in 2.5 minutes, try to skim the passage. This article here that is taken from the Hindu editorial, and in 1 to 2 lines, try to summarize it. Also mention that summary here in the chat. I would like to know your thought process, how well you are doing. Please start reading. Okay, time up. Let me know here in two lines what have you understood is the main message of this article, and I'll explain now. Temporary respite. Respite is a very common word we have seen in exams. It means a break, rahat, किसी प्रकार का pause. So temporary pause on GST, which with respect to what? Like altogether? No, no, no. Of course, it cannot happen. But India's manufacturing. India's growth strategy must focus on boosting domestic consumption. So now what do we get to see that India's growth strategy must focus on boosting the consumption which is in India, domestic consumption. So there is an advice and of course there is a temporary pause that's going on. We read a little bit about it a few days back, but that was with respect to some other topic. Let's read this. India's goods and services tax collection. Please remember, okay, so GST could have been just written as GST without further expansion of the name of the tax. But no matter how common anything is, in your essays, in your exam, you have to write a full form, okay, no matter how common it is, if you are writing it for the first time. So, India's GST collection in April, since the indirect taxation framework was implemented, has consistently hit record highs. So, it has happened consistently every time it has hit high. This April was no different. It was the same with this April as well. Generally, because of businesses tallying their books. Tallying as a verb means to verify something. है ना, मिलाते हैं ना एक चीज को दूसरी चीज से टैली करते हैं. दिस नंबर मैचेस विद द नंबर विथ यू और नॉट, उसको हम टैलिंग बोलते हैं. So generally it is because of businesses tallying their books, that means their ledgers, and completing their financial year end tax commitments. So this is because of the year end tax commitments and all. So जो भी ledger, जो भी accounts है, उसके कारण ये ऐसा हुआ है. Gross GDP collected this time was about 2.3 lakh crore, marking an year growth of 12.6% from last April. It wasn't 12.6, it was the growth of 12.6. I mean, this is something big. After reforms, the central government netted over 2.09 lakh crore, an on year rise of 9.1%. So it's a big rise again. This also signifies a marked rise in GST compliance. So, another thing which we get to see from this growth is people are complying to GST, also aided by faster refunds, which are crucial for small businesses as they work with thin working capital and mass adoption of fintech. So, there are a couple of reasons why we have seen this growth. People have complied to GST norms. We have seen people are getting faster refunds, so it is encouraging because refund, having that cash back in the pocket is very important for the small businesses. And we also see because people are now into fintech, okay, so having things on fingertips, just can do things over mobile phone, over computer, is very helpful. The fintech adoption rate in India at 87%, which is well above global average, and aided by COVID-19 years, has brought in millions from MSME sector into more formal banking system. So fintech adoption has been really good in India, better than other countries, and it has helped us bringing in many people. They are from MSME sector, and now they are into formal banking, enabling better tax compliance and regulatory supervision. So उससे क्या हुआ है कि आगे की चीजें like tax and regulatory supervision, nobody should default, nobody should cheat, corruption को थोड़ा कम करा है. So this is how it has happened. Wider compliance is also evident. We can see people have been complying, and there is a proof from April's GST collection from 18 to 25, which has more than doubled. In 2018, it was 1.03 lakh, and now it is 2.37 lakh crore. Okay, so we can see इतना बस समझ लेना कि 18 से 25 तक double हुआ is enough for us. I don't want to remember the numbers. They are not of any use as of this point. In the exam question आता है तो you can go read that portion and answer. What is significant this April has been the 86% rise in refunds issued to exporters, and 20% increase in GST revenues from imports. Imports exports में कितना rise हुआ है? That is significant. This correlates with the 10-month high growth in the April print of HSBC India Manufacturing Index. So this correlates with 10-month high growth in April print of this index. इस index में ये relate करवा सकते हैं हम that the rise has been there. The PMI, okay, again PMI is mentioned here, rose from 58 to 58.1 in March to 58.2 in April. The survey indicated a sharp rise in new business aided by greater international demand. So we can see international demand hai, and it is supporting new businesses to come up. It's helping them. Orders from abroad grew to the largest degree in over 14 years in the first month of 2026 fiscal year, with demand led by Africa, Asia, Europe, West Asia, and the Americas. Okay. So what do we get to see? We are getting a lot of international orders coming in from everywhere around the globe, and that has helped. Now, author says this suggests that businesses have scrambled to get their orders in before the 90-day pause on tariffs. Now, what do we understand from this, especially export-import related increase? That businesses have scrambled to get their orders. They have really worked hard. Okay, they have made it happen for themselves, that they get orders before 90-day pause on tariffs by the US ends on July 9th. Okay, so of course we have seen the revised tariffs and all they are gonna impose. So uske pehle inka ho jana chahiye. It also suggests a possible realignment in supply chains. Again, it is going to we can get to see some changes, okay, with respect to supply chains with greater sourcing from India, as US tariffs on China appear to be more onerous and certain. चाइना को लेकर ज़्यादा है, ऑफकोर्स चाइना से ज़्यादा टैरिफ है, तो इंडिया के पास से सोर्स करना यूएस को सस्ता पड़ेगा कंपैरेटिवली, with the possibility of transshipment goods from China being taxed without a high value add threshold. So in short, they have India as better option of sourcing than having China with them. Now, Apple has said, of course, this is not Apple, but this is the Apple. It has said that its January to March earnings call that it intends to source most of its iPhones for the US, जो उसका largest market है from India. Okay, so here the earnings call that it intends to source most of the phones for the US, and this is its largest market, that is from India. This suggests a temporary respite, temporary break for India's sector, which is manufacturing sector, which witnessed a 4-year growth low at 4% in last fiscal. So the area was not doing that well. We also witnessed a growth low at like less growth over here at 4%, and now they're gonna get some break. A more durable growth strategy would be to boost domestic consumption. Now, if we want the manufacturing sector to boost, to boom, we can focus on the domestic consumption of goods manufactured in India and wrangle favorable concessions for its manufacturing sectors. Wrangle is negotiate karna. Somehow you negotiate concessions for this sector from the many ongoing trade agreements. So we have to make sure that along with other things going well, the manufacturing sector gets a chance to boost, and how we can do that वो यहाँ पे बताया गया है. Okay, I know many of you may not like reading a lot about finance, but some days we have to do that. It's a part and parcel of your exam. Respite, okay, it's a noun. It means viram, rahat, a break, a breather, a pause where you take some rest, you refresh, and then you get ready. Tallying as a verb means milan karna, to reconcile, match, check, cross check, verify karna. Compliance is anupalan, adherence to obey what is said, to agree, conformity. And ends word it's a noun. Fintech is Vittiya technique, financial technology coming together means fintech, financial things, products, tools connected, integrated into technology. Okay, fintech ke upar we have, you love it? That's good to know, Zeba. I'm really happy when I see students taking interest in such, because personally I'm not very excited with things related to finance and all. I try to understand them, but it's not something I really love. That's the reason why my students are like, ma'am, we love, you talk about economy, you talk about finance, we love to understand that. So it's good to know. I lack in that area somewhere. Insular is जो भी insulated है, isolated है, it's narrow mindedness, संकुचित होना. You are not having a wider outlook. MSME का full form है, this is not a meaning, but you must know micro, small and medium. This is for newcomers. I know जितने यहाँ पे already exam देकर बैठे हैं या prepare करे, they know this, but this is for brand new people starting to prepare for exam. Supervision is nigarani, to oversight, to monitor, also to control. Something that correlates to something else, that means it relates to something in a very leveled manner. एक से दूसरी चीज मैच हो रही है. Onerous is भारी, burdensome. Onus is there, taxing है, थकाने वाला है ना. Transshipment is re-export, reloading. Transshipment, okay? So it is simply some export getting exported again एक point से. So reload करना, reroute करना, re-export करना. Value add is enhancement, some kind of improvement, value added service आपने सुना होगा. So anything which is already there, but on the top of it, if you are getting something, that is a value addition. Durable is टिकाऊ, something that lasts long, it's of long term. Wrangle, this is an interesting word now here. Wrangle is लड़ाई करके पाना. So you don't get it easily, you fight for it, but you get it. So that's the kind of negotiation. A typical example is we fighting for dhania and mirchi in a country. Okay, most of us we do that. Don't know about millennials. I know about millennials, but don't know about the Gen Z and all. So लड़ाई करके पाना. Concession is riayat, some kind of discount, some kind of allowance. It could be monetary, it could be something else, but some kind of ease on the pocket is concession. Now, there we go. I want you to answer some grammar questions. Okay. Subject and main verb of this sentence that I have marked. Subject and main verb of the sentence that I have marked. Come on, guys. The fintech adoption rate, only the word rate, okay. अब वो किसका rate है, क्यों है, not a part of my subject verb agreement. This is my first noun and that's singular. After mentioning the subject, now author has used a long description of it, okay, which is से लेके 2021 तक. So this rate has brought in millions of. This has is used because of this word rate, okay. Part of speech of this word, I have encircled a word. Part of speech of this word. Very good. It is an adjective. Now, another subject and verb you are going to tell me from this sentence. Please mark the subject and verb. Subject and verb of the sentence that I have marked. Subject and verb, main verb. How would you check if you don't know, right? So you should be able to spot the subject and verb in order to check the agreement. इसका रूल आप इतना लर्न कर करके सीखते हो. Okay. So I think I have mentioned this rule earlier also, but I'll repeat for you guys, for my students, dear students. Usually, if what is the first word of a sentence, it ends up being a question, which is not in this case. कोई question mark नहीं दिख रहा. That means this is not a question statement, an interrogative sentence. What is significant this April? This whole thing is what fragment. And whenever you see such a setup, what अगर sentence के शुरुआत में है as a subject, it is always going to act singular. So what is significant this April? The whole structure is the subject, especially what, and this is singular. That's why has been. Okay, that's why we are using has over here. Okay, I have a different kind of question here. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you to do something. If I want to change this, okay, if I want to say between and then I want to mention the years, what shall I use to connect 2018 with 2025? Okay, so instead of from, I want to write between. तो टू की जगह पर मैं क्या लिखूं? What should I write at this place? What should I use at this place? Which word? Very good. So there are two ways in which I can mention starting and end point of a time from 2018 to 2025. So with from works too. Also, it helps us understand this is the mark, the beginning time, and this is the end time. And if I'm using between structure, which is again more or less the same, but it mostly talks about and highlights the between wala cheese. In that case, and is used as a pair. Okay, so please remember this because such questions we get to see in exam. Last question. Part of speech of the word tallying. This is verb in its ing form acting as adjective. Because we are getting to know more about the noun, which is word businesses here. Okay, it cannot be my main verb of the sentence. No, April was no different. Okay, my main verb is this. This is my subject. Now, why it was no different? What are the other things? Generally, because of businesses tallying their books. So, how are these businesses? This word tallying is helping me know more about the noun. So, sometimes this is the structure which you get. In this case, tallying is acting as adjective. Let's go through the summary quickly. So, this article highlights April's record high GST collections driven by increased compliance. Multiple reasons for their compliance बढ़ गया है, fintech adoption है, year-end filings है. Notably, there was a surge in refunds and import-based GST revenue, indicating how international demand has improved, and a shift in global supply chains towards India because China says better to India का option है अभी. However, the article stresses that this boom is temporary. This is a temporary respite for manufacturing sector. They need to do more. The sustainable growth must come through or from boosting domestic consumptions. We should have better terms in trade agreements so that we can continue this growth. Okay. Tone of this particular article was analytical. There was some caution related to manufacturing sector, so that was given and foresighted. That means author is able to understand what he has a vision and understand what is required to be done in future. Let's do some questions. That's your first question. Answer here. Answer to this one. First question is B. Which of the following best captures the implicit caution, clear cut caution expressed in the editorial regarding India's export-led GST surge? So the surge is driven by transient global supply chain shift, means China se better option India, and not structural domestic reforms. It's not because what we are doing. It's because of what is happening around the globe and how things are changing, how there is a shift that we get to see over here. Okay, so वो आंसर आपका यहाँ पर है B. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन करो. Second question, guys, come on, quick. The answer to this one is C. Which of the following is inconsistent with the editorial tone and argument? So कौन सा चीज editorial के against जा रहा है? Manufacturing growth is now immune to external shocks. Author is saying do something. Let's do something. Let's increase domestic demand to make the manufacturing sector sustainable. क्योंकि अभी तो थोड़ा ब्रेक मिला है, थिंग्स आर इजी. हाउ वी विल डू लेटर ऑन, सो ट्रेड अग्रीमेंट्स भी इजी हो. सी इज योर आंसर गाइस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Question number 3. Third is B. Why does editorial imply India's role in global chains post 24? Because India may emerge as a primary node due to favorable geopolitical and economic shift. India will have better things to offer, and which is clearly mentioned, and just now I have explained in different contexts. How does the editorial view fintech's role in GST compliance? It has facilitated smoother compliance and monitoring. Super easy question this time. Fifth question. For fifth one, the answer is C. In the editorial, what does the mention of Apple sourcing from India signify? That validation of India's potential in high value electronics manufacturing. It is a proof, okay? No, 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 it is not a decline. Na? It's not about declining of it. It is about if Apple is sourcing from India, it is validating that, it is giving a proof, it is giving some credit, lending credit to India कि हाँ भाई यहाँ से आप काम कर सकते हो. I hope you're getting it now. That's your first question. Error. Answer to this one is C. April's GST revenue increase. Increases used as a noun. Increase is reflective of government's capacity to do something. That means 2 plus V1 is required. यहाँ you cannot use a gerund. It's of no use here. Capacity for नहीं, capacity to do something कहा जाता है. So that's why to enable होगा, for enabling नहीं होगा. Understanding? Next one. Answer is A. Yeah. The country's manufacturing outlook, not in the option, so don't worry. Though optimistic currently, okay? So we cannot use optimistic and the word adverb currently after it. If optimistic is adjective and I want to explain this adjective, I need to use adverb before the adjective. Placement of adverbs, okay? Location of other words can go here and there at the part of speech, it's okay. But placement of adverbs, it's very important. So currently optimistic, currently should come first and then optimistic. Next question. Answer here is B. Despite an uptick in tax collection, it remains crucial that policymakers, the is unnecessary article here. It is not signifying anything. It is not specifying anything. क्योंकि किसी specific को indicate नहीं कर रहा है. That's why the article is not needed. Okay, these are simple general policy makers. So कभी भी general tone में a plural is used, articles are not required for them. So यहाँ पे the policy makers नहीं, सिर्फ policy makers आएगा. Fourth one. Very interestingly, the answer here is B. The editorial delineates how the demand propelled exports. Upwards क्यों बोलेंगे? Propel का मतलब ही है ना exports went up. So this is redundancy which is in B. Okay. While manufacturing remained how sluggish in its domestic trajectory. Trajectory hai, so if you are using the word propel, then upwards is redundant. It is useless over here. It is a repetition of a word whose meaning is already mentioned with using the first word that we have used here. Question has been made easy for you. Answer is C. The government must focus on easing, reducing, and incentivizing. Okay, I should have not mentioned this here, but just wanted to give a little bit of chance to others also, newcomers also, to attempt the question. So, easing gerund, reducing gerund, after and. To convey third thing in the line, I need to keep the form same. तो ये भी gerund होगा, incentivizing आएगा. Okay? So here we are done. Thank you so much all of you for being part of this class. Make sure to like and share the session. Let me tell you, we have started doing EPFO PYQs at 1:30 p.m. here. Okay, we will continue with more practice for the same exam, and it's going to be on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Other 3 days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, classes on other channel, which is CGB IBPS Hub, and I'm gonna start a new series there as well. Okay, 1:30 p.m. Apart from this, 8 p.m. daily classes are going on here, so do not miss them. Okay. V1 ing used as adjective. Okay. So there are times just when we use verb in its participle form, present participle, as adjective. For example, dancing doll. Okay. So this is a specialty of this doll. It keeps on dancing as you on it. So this is not a typical adjective, but it is derived from the verb. Okay. Crying baby, rota hua bachcha, if you understand Hindi. So there was a crying baby on the flight. The effect of the baby, or the thing going on with the baby, was she was continuously crying. So this is how we use them. Okay. A man as something to be done. Okay. So a man has given me this message. Let's say as a sentence here. But how was this man? He was walking towards the door. So here again it is adjective with some more words. So it is an adjective phrase helping us understand more about this man, which is a noun. So this is how we use it. Okay. I hope Zeba these 2-3 examples will help you, and more about it we will discuss in the coming days. Okay. So do not worry. Thank you so much.